Hey guys, what's up? Alec TORELLI here. Today's video is about 5 productive things you can do while driving. And growing up in Southern Cali, I spent a lot of time in the car and commuting. I used to actually drive all the time to go to the Commerce Casino, and there was often traffic. So sometimes it would take literally an hour and a half to get where I was going, and that would be twice, there and back every day. So I spent a lot of time in the car, and I'm really obsessed with optimizing things, and I hate wasting time because time is more valuable to me than money to a large extent. And so wasting it feels worse than spending, $10 on something that should cost $2. Like, it's just that aching feeling inside. So in this video, I want to address 5 productive things you can do while driving, and some productive ways that you optimize your commute to make your commute more, fun and enjoyable. So the first thing I would say to do is not really number one is sort of not specifically to do while driving, but number one tip for productive things to do while driving is to plan ahead. And planning is really essential because in order to utilize your commute correctly, you're going to need to not just get in the car and just then think about what to do. You're going to have an idea of what you want to do based on where you're going before you get in the car. So for example, if I have phone calls to make, I will make it as easy as possible to make those calls. So I'll do one of two things. I'll enter the contacts into my phone in alphabetical order, like AAAA, so it's at the top of my contacts. Or B, I'll dial the number really quick and hang up so I can go to recent calls and see that it's in the last call there, and I can just click that button while I'm on the phone. Or I'll have it in my contacts and say, hey Siri, call American Express, whatever, Charles Schwab. And so it's an easy way to, make my calls in an efficient way online. If I have bills to pay, I'll grab a bill like this and I'll just say, whatever, here it is, and I'll have it out, and I'll have the reference number or whatever it is in a place that's on a huge piece of paper in big writing, so that while I'm driving, I'm not being unsafe, but I can reference things that I need. So I'll always plan ahead while driving, and that's, I think, the best way to utilize your time. You want to think about how long it is that your commute is and what is the most efficient thing you could do during that time. And so start with your most important phone calls. I think that's probably the best thing to do. And schedule things ahead of time. If you have a conference call and you're going to be going from point A to point B at 11 a.m., schedule a call for 11:05, have it on auto dial, and boom, there you go. You've just utilized your commute without making a conference call in your office for literally no reason. So I guess in conjunction with that is, the first thing I would do, tip number 2 to optimize your commute is to make phone calls. I think that's probably the best use of time in the car, at least for me personally. I've literally booked entire vacations, closed business deals, funded my retirement, whatever, on a drive. And so, on your way to buy a few lemons, now suddenly you've done something super, super productive. And it feels good. To me, it feels really good to know that, look, sometimes I want to be present. I want to just go on a drive just to get out. And if I'm on a drive for leisure, I'm not going to optimize my time in the car. But if I'm on a drive and it's not something that I'm in the mindset of just, going on a date, I'm not going to be optimizing my commute. But if I'm on to do a meaningless task like an errand or something, that's the time where I want to make the most use of my time. So the third thing I would recommend to do is learn something. And I love learning, and I believe one of the most efficient ways to do that is through a podcast. And podcasts are great things to download ahead of time. You could download them ahead of time while you're connected to Wi-Fi, have the one you want loaded up so that when you get in the car, you just push play. And, depending on how long the podcast is, anywhere from 10 minutes to an hour and a half, 2 hours, you can have something to do in the car that's exciting and useful. My 2 favorite podcasts are The Tim Ferriss Show and Gary V Audio Experience. My favorite episodes of Tim Ferriss are the ones with Josh Waitzkin, Seth Godin, and the Tao of Seneca. And Gary V, any episode is great. Just pick a topic you like, whether it's marketing or being inspired, and those episodes are amazing. They get you fired up for the week. So podcasts are a great thing to do in the car. Number 4 is learn a language. Before I moved to Parma, Italy in January of 2011, I wanted to have a strong base in Italian. I wanted to have good enough understanding of the language so that when I got off the plane, I could communicate. I could ask for directions, I could order food, and I could, figure out what I needed to do in the city because I didn't know anyone there and I didn't speak the language. So I used a service called Pimsleur, Pimsleur, to learn Italian. 80% of it I did while running errands. Each lesson is 30 minutes. There's 90 lessons. I recommend doing each lesson twice. And it's an amazing way to learn a language in the car. So let's say you're driving somewhere there and back to work during the day. In the morning, you'll do lesson 1. In the afternoon, you'll do lesson 1. In the next day, you'll do lesson 2, and then you'll do lesson 3, and then you'll go back to lesson 2, and you can just reverse it that way. It's a great way to learn a language in the car. Pimsleur is amazing. I also used it to learn rudimentary Chinese when I was living out in Macau. And after finishing all night in lessons, I could literally order food, shop for groceries, ask for directions, and I could use that as a base to build upon when I got to Italy. So that's a great way to use your time in the car. I mean, think about how cool that would be at the end of next year. 90 lessons, you do them all twice, 180 lessons. So like, let's say, in 6 months or a year, you've now like learned basic French just for free. Like, you literally get that time for free by not doing anything other than what you're already doing now, which is commuting to work or whatever it is. So the 5th thing I would recommend doing is read a book. Well, not literally, but absorb a book by using audiobooks and using a website called audible.com. You can download books very cheaply, and they have a plethora of authors. You can choose from any author you like, and you can literally have, sometimes the author reads the book, but you'll have someone read the book to you. One pro tip is to do it at 1.25x or 1.5x speed, so you could read it faster. 1x speed is usually very slow, and you can literally get information from the best minds in the world on your commute. A few books I recommend for those that want to do it are How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie, The 4-Hour Workweek by Timothy Ferriss, Fooled by Randomness by Nassim Taleb, or Ego is the Enemy by Ryan Holiday. Those are the great books I recommend to start with if you're looking for a quick book to pick up while you're on a commute. So I hope you enjoyed the 5 productive things to do while driving. I hope you enjoyed this guide. If you want this in a blog post to reference it later, click the link below. There is a blog about this entire article, which you can have access to as well, so you can bookmark that for future use. If you like this video, share it with someone who drives too much, and they could benefit from this as well. Subscribe to my channel, and leave a like. That lets me know that you like this video and I'm producing awesome content for you, because there's more videos here every week where I take your questions and answer them here in short videos. Thank you guys for watching. I'm Alec TORELLI. I'll see you next time. Cheers.